The world is full of mysteries. So from a mysterious creature to an unknown light phenomena witnessed by thousands, here we have 5 unsolved mysteries that still need explaining. The Ohio University in Athens is perhaps the most haunted campus in the world. The place was established in 1804, a year after the statehood. The number of allegedly haunted places on the site is quite impressive, and they're added to the numerous legends regarding Athens County. Wilson Hall is the most famous haunted place on the campus. It's the building that most people point to when speaking about haunted Athens. The building is apparently located in the middle of an immense pentagram consisting of 5 cemeteries situated in the region. The graveyards are scattered around the area, and when looked at on a map, they form a pentagram. A pentagram is the ancient occult symbol of power and magic. According to the pagan tradition, a pentagram might create safe areas free from any paranormal activity. The centre is extremely important, and it's no wonder that Wilson Hall resides in the middle of the cemetery pentagram. Wilson Hall is said to be the home of a ghost that died in a mysterious way in the 1970s. He died in room 428, and years after, students residing in that room have heard strange sounds and footsteps, as well as witnessing several objects moving by themselves on their own. Since these occurrences, the room has been closed off, and was not given to any new students again. This is perhaps the only university room in the world that is sealed off and closed. The school officials have proclaimed the room is uninhabitable. The story says that the female student passed away in that room. It's said that the girl made use of the room's energy to practice a method where the human spirit travels on its own after separating from the body. This technique is known as astral projection. The student was also rumoured to have repeatedly attempted to contact the dead. Another legend tells that Wilson Hall was built on the grounds of an Indian cemetery, and the spirits are of this origin. Spiritualist experts claim that the geography of the area with the layout of peaks, mountains and valleys makes the spot very conducive to psychic energy. At the beginning of the 1980s, a newspaper researched the property in a routine examination for the institute. They discovered that Wilson Hall is built on the same location as the original site of an early cemetery of the Athens Mental Institute. The story of the famous miracle in Fatima, Portugal began in May 1917, when 3 children ages 7, 9 and 10 claimed to have encountered the Virgin Mary on their way home from tending to a flock of sheep. The oldest girl was the only one to speak to her, and Mary told the children that she would reappear to them on the 13th day of the next 6 months. She then vanished. The children soon told their parents, and while some of the villagers didn't believe their tales, others did and told more people. As the weeks and months passed, more and more of the faithful made journeys to Fatima, where the children claimed to receive Mary's visits. Still, no one else saw the Virgin Mary. Instead, the gathered adults would listen to the children as they described their visions. It was Mary's final appearance on the 13th of October 1917 that became the most famous. An estimated 70,000 people were in attendance at the site, anticipating the Virgin Mary's final visit, and with many fully expecting that she would work a great miracle. As before, the figure appeared, but this time lifting her hands to the sky. As everyone gazed upward, they saw that a silvery disc had emerged from the clouds behind. They experienced what is known as a sun miracle. Soon after, ray beams of light began hitting the onlookers. This was a thing that really happened. It was viewed between 50,000 to 100,000 people of varying ages, and has since been confirmed as a miracle by the Roman Catholic Church. Despite some theories about space dust and the trick of light, science has been unable to explain exactly what all those people saw. In many Native American legends, a Skinwalker is a person with the supernatural ability to turn into any creature he or she desires. To be able to transform, legend sometimes requires that the Skinwalker wears a pelt of the animal. In most cases, this pelt is not used in modern times because it's an obvious sign of them being Skinwalkers. It's a common theme found throughout cultures all over the world, and is referred to as shapeshifting by anthropologists. Although a skinwalker is most frequently seen as a fox, wolf, eagle, owl, or crow, the skinwalker is said to have the power to assume the form of any animal they choose, a decision based on what specific abilities are needed. For example, a skinwalker may use a bird form to travel in pursuit, escape, or otherwise. Some also believe that skinwalkers have the ability to steal the face of a person. The Navajo believe that if you ever lock eyes with a skinwalker, they can absorb themselves into your body. Alternately, some Navajos believe that if you make eye contact with a skinwalker, your body will freeze up with fear and the skinwalker will use that fear to gain power and energy. The skin of the creature may just be a mask, which are the only garments worn in the initiation ritual. Since skinwalkers are shunned and despised, numerous attempts have been made to hunt one down. However, they're not usually successful. Sometimes a skinwalker will be tracked down, only to lead to the house of the tracker, or somebody known by him. As in European werewolf lore, a human form will keep any injury sustained during animal form, which is sometimes a good way to find a skinwalker hiding in a village. It's said that if a Navajo was to know the person behind the skinwalker, they had to pronounce the full name. About 3 days later, that person would get sick for the wrong they've committed. Known for its sightings of ghosts and apparitions, Oaklawn Cemetery is the area's oldest public burial ground located in downtown Tampa, Florida. Established in 1850, it's the final resting place to many notables of the area throughout history. There you can discover the graves of pirates, victims of yellow fever, and Confederate soldiers. You will also notice it has a collection of very unique graves. In this video, you see what looks like a large orb and an apparition of a woman in an old-style dress. Take a look and let me know what you think. An unidentified flying object is an object flying in the sky which cannot be identified by the person who sees it. Sometimes the object is investigated. If people can still not figure out what the object is after the investigation, it's called a UFO. Studies estimate that 50 to 90% of all reported UFO sightings are later identified. Usually 10 to 20% are never identified. Studies also show that very few UFO sightings are hoaxes, but there have been some over the years that leave us scratching our heads. This UFO was filmed above Turkey between the years of 2007, 2008 and 2009. Its main witness was a night guard, who while on duty spotted strange objects that appeared at sunrise. The night guard was able to film many video segments, some during the day accompanied by witnesses with whom he spoke to while he was filming. One singularity of this case was that the images were made with a camera that had an adapter for close-ups of 200 times magnification, achieving a great amount of detail of the objects. At first the videos were analysed and made public. This case made big news in Turkey and other countries as well. It also started a great debate between the official members of the Turkish scientific community. Specifically, the National Council for the Study of Science and Technology got interested in analysing the original footage, with the intention of determining that the video was nothing more than a hoax gambling on the idea of scale models, toys or CGI. The original tape was handed to their representatives on live TV in their own headquarters. Once the analysis concluded, they gave an official report, from which I took the following fragment. The objects observed on the images have a structure made of a specific material, and are definitely not any kind of CGI animation, or on any means a type of special effects used for simulations in a studio or for video effects. So the conclusion of this report is that the observations are not a model or a fraud. It's concluded that the objects observed have a physical structure, and are made of materials that do not belong to any category of aeroplanes, helicopters, meteors, Venus, Mars, satellites, artificial lights and Chinese lanterns. Other analysis was done by video specialists, image edition and special effects companies from Japan, Russia and Turkey, all ending with the same conclusions. One theory was that the object was actually a cruise boat. However, the controversial cruise boat theory has been put to bed. The automatic identification system vessel tracking data did not show a yacht or cruise boat in the area at that time. The objects in the videos were measured to be too high above the horizon. So far, nobody's been able to demonstrate that the recordings are a product of tricks or some type of manipulation. Therefore, as it stands, this is one of the best videos of a UFO.
Nerede abi? Işık öbür tarafa gidiyor. Ciddi söylüyorum, ışık öbür tarafa gidiyor.
There was a bright full moon, and below the moon was this little bright spot. We didn't know what it was, and we were filming out over the water. There was no structures in the water. There was no oil platforms. There was no ships going by, and we zoomed in. This camera had a 200 millimeter lens and an electronic doubler, so we were able to get very tight on the leading edge of the craft. The craft, you have to realize, is being lit by the moonlight, which is, as I said, a very bright moon. And then right in the front of the craft, there appeared to be 3 windows, viewing ports, whatever you want to call them. And standing in these viewing ports were typical bumper sticker gray aliens. And I saw this, I mean, I looked through the camera myself, and unfortunately recorded it. That video went to a university in Istanbul and went over extremely intense scrutiny by the Turkish government, and then the video was also sent to the UK and several other countries for analysis. By the time all that had been done, it had already been on the internet and could absolutely not be suppressed from the public. Recently, this year, the video was given to a analyst in Chile, and he did another review of the film, but this time, instead of concentrating on the craft, he concentrated on the occupants. And on my website, allienscalpel.com, you'll see the entire Chilean analysis.
So that was 5 unsolved mysteries that still need answers. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more countdown videos.